come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I am all out of bubblegum. Good morning, everyone. How the devil are you doing this Friday? Hope you're all fit and well. I have so much to tell you, I barely know where to begin. So we're going to start with some industry-related news, which makes a nice change. Let me throw this up on the screen so you can see it. We learned this morning that Fortescue Mining has used a hydrogen-fueled Liebherr T264 rigid truck for the first time down under. Anyone that went to the last Bamble would know that there was a T264 on their stand, only that one was electric. Absolutely huge machine. But Liebherr and Fortescue have now jointly developed a hydrogen version, which has actually turned a wheel in anger. If you're at all interested in that as a story, I'm going to say good morning to Dan Cullen purely because he's just popped into the chat. But if I press the right button now, you should be seeing a link to the Liebherr hydrogen story. If you'd like to go and find out more about that, you certainly can. Incidentally, on the subject of industry news, if you go over to demolitionnews.com today, lead story. Where did all the squib kit go? Apparently, back in October of last year, they were applying for a CVA and at the time declared that they had about £2.5 million worth of unencumbered plant and equipment. I'm not entirely sure what unencumbered plant and equipment means, but they had £2.5 million worth of it. When the liquidators and the auction companies went in, it wasn't there anymore. £2 million worth of it missing. So if you happen to be driving along a road and see an excavator going the other direction with squib written on it, you might want to let somebody know. Ken Hatcher has just joined us. Morning, Ken. Thank you very much indeed for being here. In actual fact, Ken did actually send me a note this morning about that very story. I was working on it overnight and didn't get it finished. But thank you very much for the heads up on that. In other news, Monday is Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK, which means there will be no show on Monday. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your viewpoint, unfortunately, there will be no show on Tuesday or Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday won't be a show. Monday I can't avoid because it's a bank holiday and I am planning to spend a bit of time with the family, because on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll be in Volvo land. I do promise to return with a pair of shows for Thursday and Friday, but then I'm off again. Next Sunday, not this Sunday coming, but the one after that, myself and Fred will be jetting off to the Czech Republic to catch up with those fine folks at Bobcat. We'll be talking about Bobcat a bit later in the show, which means there'll be no show on the Monday or Tuesday that week either. So to recap, no show on Monday next week, no show Tuesday, no show Wednesday, back Thursday, Friday, then no show Monday, Tuesday, the week after that. If you arrive here on a Monday or a Tuesday morning and I'm not here, now you'll know why. But I realise this may dent your weekday plans. For that, I can only apologise. But please try to look on the bright side. We will come back from Sweden and the Czech Republic absolutely laden down with exciting new content and quite possibly a few giveaways too. So keep an eye on all things Breakfast showy. I probably need to take that off the screen because we're not talking about it anymore. I'm going to say good morning to our friend over at CSW. Morning, Craic. And Ken Hatcher says, I'm off Monday and Tuesday. In that case, I'll take a break from you, Ken. You take a break from me, and then we'll meet up and regroup after that. Footy's just joined us. Morning, my friend. Thank you very much indeed for being here. We do have a packed show, and our last stream of the day is really, really, really interesting. I can't emphasize that enough, but it is about 7 minutes long. So if you can possibly stick around for that, please do so. So without further ado, I'm going to roll the intro, post the question of the day, and get this show on the road. It is Thursday, the 23rd of May. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, the Walrus of Demolition. In today's show, Kobelco unveils a pair of new excavators, but are they hot or are they not? Good morning to Steve Williamson, who's just joined us. just to prove that I'm not lying. There he is. Good morning, Steve. Yes, Kobelco unveils a new pair of excavators. Are they hot or not? Another Volvo customer takes the electric plunge. We're going behind the scenes to see how Hyundai excavators are built. LiuGong's electrified customer base. Plus, and I've already keyed this up, but I'm going to tell you again, we are going to be travelling back to Intermat 2024 to meet a man from Bobcat who lives in the future. It's well worth it, trust me. But before we get to all that, we do have the small matter of today's mystery machine to decipher. So stand by your beds because I need to play an animation, don't I? It's this one. Just to let you know, I mean, I think today's mystery machine is not overly hard to identify. Not easy, but it's not overly hard. But I am going to be very, very specific. This is a specific make, a specific model. That's all I'm going to tell you. Before I tell you any more, that's what you've got to work with. Yeah, not much, is it? Don't think the colour is going to give it away too much either, but that's what you've got to work with. If you can let us know what you believe our mystery machine to be in the chat, we'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to answer our question of the day, which I'm going to remind you about in just a moment, you can do that too. Let me take that away for a moment because we do need to, where are we? Question of the day. It's this. Yeah, our question of today comes once again from that bottomless pit of intrigue and curiosity, Mr. Gary Muirhead. Following yesterday's delve into childhood snacks that we've known and loved, we're sticking with the food theme. So our question of today is this, and it's quite specific. Past or present, doesn't matter. This may have been something you had as a child or something you have now. What is your favourite breakfast cereal and how do you have it? And that second part, to my mind, is an important distinction. So, personally, as a child, my all-time favourite, Golden Nuggets, if anybody remembers those. Golden Nuggets with loads of cold milk. These days, I'm a cornflake man, but this is where the distinction comes in. If I'm having them purely for breakfast, like this morning, then it's cornflakes, cold milk, no sugar. If I'm having them as a late-night snack or if I'm having them in the winter, it's cornflakes, boiling hot milk, and a spoonful of sugar. But what about you? What is your favourite cereal? How do you take it? And stuff. So, I'm going to throw this one up purely because it's thrown me off, I must admit. Let's have a look. There is the quizmaster himself, Mr. Gary Muirhead, saying, question of the day, my favourite breakfast cereal was an old one that was called Start. Start? I have no recollection of Start whatsoever. I wonder if this was Start a Scottish thing? My other half saying shredded wheat, hot milk and sugar. I can certainly vouch for that. Steve, William. Steve, where do you shop? You were questioning the existence of crunchies yesterday, and now you're questioning the existence of sugar puffs. Sugar puffs are out there, no problem at all. Oh, no problem at all. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's plenty of others. Chris Ford, no, we don't require the serial number of today's machine. But if you have it to hand, you know, it might just win you the prize. First guess on our mystery machine today is that from Gary Muirhead, who is going for a Maruka MST 2200 VDR. You have no idea how far away you actually are. I tell you what, let me be fair and show you a bit more. There you are. That's a bit more you've got to work with. Our friend Mick, good morning, Mick, has just said a good write-up about Scribs, the worrying situation if they are complicit in hiding the plant. Listen, these things are a weird old deal, aren't they? Just because, I know for a fact that just because companies go defunct doesn't necessarily mean that work stops. And that may have been the case. So, maybe it's been moved around. I honestly don't know, but there is going to be an investigation to find the missing 2 million or thereabouts, £2 million worth of plant and equipment. And some missing scrap as well. Let's have a look. Gary Muirhead swears blind that Start was made by Kellogg. So, yes, should have been available. I have no recollection of it whatsoever. Ken Hatcher is saying, is that the hydrogen dumper? That is not. But that is, that's the Leap Air hydrogen-fueled T264 that's gone to work down under. Gary Muirhead has got a bit closer with that mystery machine with the Cat D90. It is not. I'm looking for something very, very specific, and I can tell you, it's a bit older than that. We'll come back to all of that in just a moment. But first, we do need to actually crack on with the show. And immediately after this thing of what I'm going to play right now, I want you to decide, Kobelco, hot or not? In a moment. Let's have a look. That's the mystery machine as it stands at the moment. Steve Williamson is going for a Cat D8T. Gary Muirhead is going for the Cat D8K. All good guesses. None of them are correct. Here's a bit more to be going on with. Yes, the roof of the cab, always a dead giveaway. Or not. Ken Hatcher, never heard of Start either. I'm starting to wonder if this was a purely Kellogg's Scotland Inc. invention. Gary Muirhead, just Googled Start. I remember the box now, says my other half. I'm not sure I ever tried it. I'm going to have a look at that while the next video is playing. So, just to preempt what I'm about to show you, well, before we get to that, good morning, says Peter McKenna. Good morning, Peter. Good of you to join us. Hope you're fitting well, my friend. Hope you've got me on the big screen, although you're probably at work, so you probably haven't, but good morning. Now, I want to preempt this. For some reason, Kobelco seem to be unveiling new excavators in pairs. We did one a couple of weeks ago, which was some compact excavators. We've got a pair now that are a bit bigger. So please don't think that I'm showing you the same video again, because I promise you I'm not. Gaz Evans is here as well. Morning, Gaz. And on our mystery machine, closest guess is Gary Muirhead. Go for the Cat D7G. That's what you're working with. Here's a bit more. It is not the Cat D7G, but you're mighty close. Chris Ford going for the Cat D8L. And Peter says he's at work, so not got all his creature comforts. Never mind. We'll do our best to make you feel comfortable. Not a problem at all. So I've mentioned Kobelco. Watch this. Tell me, are these new excavators from the mighty Kobelco hot, or are they not?
Today, we're showcasing the next generation of compact heavy excavators, the SK230 and 270 SRLC-7. These short-radius machines are designed to redefine performance and productivity, taking the worksite experience to new heights. Built on Kobelco's performance by design philosophy, they inherit the same enhanced design and operator comfort found in our other 7 and 11E series models. These excavators go beyond being mere machines. They are your allies in achieving success. The SK230 and 270 boast exceptional efficiency and productivity, setting them apart not only in terms of performance but also in design. Carefully crafted with the operator in focus, this machine ensures the comfort and operational ease you need without compromising on any aspect. Elevating precision and efficiency to new heights, our SK230 and 270 SRLC-7 models feature a new Stage 5 Yanmar engine and a meticulously engineered hydraulic system. Whether you're handling digging tasks in confined spaces or lifting heavy loads, these machines respond with unmatched accuracy, putting you in complete control. The SK230 and 270 models deliver unparalleled versatility. Their compact designs facilitate effortless navigation through tight spaces, making them ideal for urban construction projects or hard-to-reach job sites. Furthermore, you can enhance customization by choosing from various options such as a high-capacity auxiliary pump, a 2-piece boom, a dozer blade, or a 1,400-kilo add-on counterweight. This ensures that the SK230 and 270 SRLC-7 can be tailored precisely to meet your specific requirements. Equipped with a ROPS, TOPS, and OPG-certified cabin, the SK230 and 270 prioritize operator safety with a protective enclosure that meets industry standards. 2 extra LED lights on the counterweight ensure well-illuminated work areas, enhancing visibility in low-light conditions. This not only reduces the risk of accidents but also contributes to an overall improvement in safety. In adherence to Stage 5 emission standards, the SK230 and 270 exemplify a commitment to environmental friendliness. Operators can choose between heavy, standard, and eco-work modes, allowing for a harmonious balance between high performance and fuel efficiency. The different work modes available ensure optimal productivity while promoting eco-conscious machine operation. Kobelco's advanced integrated noise and dust reduction system stands as a superior approach to noise suppression. This system promotes low noise levels, exceptional engine cooling, heightened reliability, minimal machine downtime, and fosters a more comfortable working environment for the operator. These machines, built on Kobelco's performance by design philosophy, not only redefine performance and productivity but also prioritize operator comfort and safety. From exceptional efficiency and precision to unparalleled versatility and eco-conscious operation, these excavators are your trusted partners in success.
Now, my vote doesn't count, because that's the way these things roll. But as a Kobelco fan, I find myself erring towards hot. Apparently, I'm not alone. Peter McKenna was first off the mark. He said, I love Kobelco. Sounds like Homer Simpson with his donuts. Ken Hatcher, hot. Gary Muirhead, hot. Totally agree. I think that one will be going to our grand final. The guesses are still coming in on our mystery machine. Steve is going for the Cat D9. It is not. And I can tell you that the nearest so far is this one from Gary Muirhead, who says it's a Cat D7F. It isn't, but man alive, you're close. Chris Ford is going for the Cat D9L. It is not. Let me show you a bit more, see if that will give it away. Obviously, elevated sprocket, high drive design from Caterpillar, but it is not the D9L, and it is not. It's not even the D7E from Gary Muirhead. All very, very close, and all good guesses, but you're not quite there yet. And as I say, this is a very specific model. I know I'm emphasizing that, but it really is a very specific model. So keep those guesses coming in. Dan Cullen says anything Kobelco is hot. I've got to be honest, I kind of agree with that. I do kind of agree with that. Let me take this away because we need to press on, because much to get through.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news.
Yeah, we're going to be focusing on electric machines several times in today's show, and we're going to start with a trip to the good old US of A to meet a contractor that is embracing all things electric. In fact, they're embracing all things Volvo electric.
Part of our value is really sustainability. And this initiative that we're talking about here today on going with electric and getting away from carbon, I mean, that is something that is really core to our values, and we see that as a very good fit. Really, the goal is to see if this unit, the EC230, really works. And we want to make sure it works at this larger United Boulevard facility. So, the excavators, we use it really as a support equipment to the wheel loaders. But this is a stepping stone into the larger units that are available in electric. That's what we really want.
Emterra noticed that the EC230 was being unveiled, and they showed a lot of interest in that unit, seeing that it would fit with their goals of sustainability. We contacted Volvo expressing Emterra's interest in it, hoping to bring some machines here for them, and they're generous enough to bring out the EC230 for them to try out.
I've been lucky enough to be on the EC230 for about a month now. Primarily, we've been using the EC230 to break down some of the bulkier material in the building and just move that material around it so it's more efficient. I really enjoy the EC230. The electrical, it has a really nice even power band. It doesn't seem to fluctuate much. Very smooth, really nice to operate that way. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
It really is about the charge time, and it's about the operating time and that balance that we have as far as scheduling. Now, in addition to that, we want to make sure that we are getting our payloads and we're maximizing the volume that's going out into these trucks to make sure we're really reducing the emissions and the greenhouse gases that are being emitted. So that's really the core portion of what we're really evaluating. But it's also too, it's do the equipment operators, how did they react to it? Are they pleased with the machine? It's really making sure the customers that we have coming in are having a good customer experience. And the EC230 is really, all indication is it's lending to that.
As of right now, depending on how much the the workload we have on it, it would be between 4 to 4.5 hours to work the machine for the 4 hours in the morning. And then while the operator takes his lunch and does his servicing, the machine can be charged back to 80% and work another for the full day.
We have the ability to pull it out of the building and put it on the charger really anytime we need to. For us, it works great.
Compared to a diesel engine, currently with Volvo's warranties on these batteries and the electric systems, you're pretty good covered for 7 years. So that definitely reduces the cost for maintenance.
It has fully exceeded my expectations, quite honestly. I wasn't sure what to expect running an electric piece of equipment, and I'm quite pleased.
The performance of the EC230 is the same as a regular conventional EC220 machine, but they get some added benefits. The machine is cleaner, quieter, and runs with less maintenance. I'm really excited about Volvo's vision on sustainable construction equipment. I'm glad to see that they're being innovative and investing in it. It's going to be interesting to see what they have for the future. People are starting to embrace the idea of electric machines, the more sustainable options that are out there. It's not yet there for everybody, but we're excited to see where the market will go with it.
Providers, manufacturers like Volvo coming in and making sure, having these units available to us, to suit our needs. So to me, we're really just breaking the ice as far as getting, into carbon neutrality and really getting into these facilities going, greenhouse gas neutral. That means everything to me. So as far as no emissions, no noise, it's a really good setup, and the potential for replacing really, our entire yellow iron fleet is there. We're quite excited about that.
I need to go over to the chat, first of all, before we get into anything else. First of all, I want to say a very good morning. For some reason, LinkedIn is only half working on the show this morning. Mick Norton has said hello to us all from LinkedIn, but it's not displaying here. But our new friend, Mark Sirek, not sure. Good morning from India. Good morning from India. Well, not just because it's from India, but because I don't remember seeing Mark in the chat before. There we are. Let's give him his welcome confetti. Morning, Mark. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Not sure how you found us or why, but mighty glad to have you here. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Somebody is getting a bit smart with, they think they're getting smart, but I'm about to rain on their parade. Steve Williamson going for our mystery machine. Let me show you what we're working with. He has gone for a cat, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, S, O, P, Q. He's done the whole alphabet. The right answer's in there. Sort of. You're missing a bit, but the right answer is in there. Steve chuckling to himself. I'm not into electric, says Footy. There may come a time when you have no choice, my friend. Now, what else have we got? More guesses. Dan Cullen is going for a Terex TA-25 military. It is not. That is what it looks like. Peter is going for the Cat D7F. It is not. It is not a D7E. It is not a Terex 2566 either. As I say, Steve has got the right answer in there somewhere. It is definitely not a Terex of any kind. It is not a Cat D9N, but the correct answer is in there somewhere. And that's what you've got to work with. As I say, very, very specific. Our friend Mick says, heard a fellow talking about insurance. He works in the field. He said they know if an e-car goes up, an electric car goes up in flames, it's a write-off, and they've upped the cost to insure the e-cars. I would hate to think how much a machine costs to insure. It's a good question, and we're not there yet either, are we? Peter McKenna has gone for Cat D9Q. Was there ever a D9Q? Was there a D9Q? I don't remember a D9Q. Maybe there was. Honestly, can't remember. I think that pretty much brings us up to date. Oh, Footy has just said might be retired by the time electric comes along. He have his feet up, won't have to worry about electric diggers. Well, you never know. Your boss might pop out and buy you one tomorrow. You just never know. Speaking of people buying machines, I do need to pop back in the chat because I promised I'd come back to this at some point. Take that away. Ken Hatcher says, I'm getting a new Kubota 8-tonner in 2 weeks. To my mind, that is fantastic news. As somebody that worked for Kubota for the best part of a decade, or worked, did their PR for them for the best part of a decade, huge Kubota fan. I can't say I know too much about the 8-tonner because at the time I was working with them, I think the biggest machine they had was a 5-tonner. But if anybody knows anything about my wife is being an idiot. If anybody knows anything about the Kubota range and the 8-tonner, let us know. Back to this. My wife has gone, it's a cat called Bob. It may well be called Bob, but that's not the make and model we're looking for. Dan, I think you're missing a trick. It's not a Hanomag D68OE. It is a cat. It is a cat. Unquestionably, it is a cat. We just don't know what type. Let's have a look. Let me take that away. Shall I show you a bit more? Let me just take it away and make sure I can show you a bit more. I can. There you are. Let me put it back on the thing. There you are. You've got a bit more to work with. I think we all know roughly what we're looking at, but you haven't got there yet. So keep the guesses coming in. Take that away. Press the next button, which is this one.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
I've actually played those out of sequence. It doesn't matter. You don't need to worry about it. Yes. Where are we? We will be going electric again in just a moment, but stick around because we're about to take you behind the scenes to see how and where Hyundai excavators are made. I need to drag this off the hard drive, so bear with me for 2 ticks while I locate it. I've got a funny feeling I know where it is. It's here. So next time you see a Hyundai excavator, you will know where it came from. From there. Now, mystery machine. Rather depends now how much of a pedant I want to be. So Peter McKenna has done let me go back to Mick first. Mick has said, at a guess, a Cat D9. It's not. Peter McKenna then serves as a potted history of the Cat D7, including most of the name of the one that we're looking at, but not all. Dan has gone for the Cat D10. He's also gone for the D6E, and he's gone for the D7H. Well, I can tell you, Dan, you are sort of right. As I say, it is a Cat D7H, but that's not actually the complete answer. It's not the complete answer. For those of you that know the way that Caterpillar used to name its machines, you should be able to get it from that. It is not. It is a Cat D7H, but there's more. And it's not because it's a military spec. There's more. There's more to the name. So we'll come back to that. Let me take it away for the time being. Let me take Dan away. There was a lot of talk going on about robots in the background of that video. The same robots that are in Ford Hazelwood have been used to play a variety of instruments. They can also play the juice harp nearly as good as a human. Can they? I don't know why you'd want that, but well done. Mick says, oy vey. No, it's not the Cat D7 oy vey, sort of. The military Cat D7H. No, not that. D7H XE. I don't think the D7H had an XE version. Cat D7H Model D. No, it's not. Not the Cat D7H LGP. I can see where you're going with that, but it's not. Let me just make sure. Can I show you a bit more? I can. There you are. There's a little bit more. Not that it's very helpful. I think that Cat 3306 D7H, I think that refers to the engine that's in it and the model. Still not right. Still not right, I'm afraid. Mick Norton, who has just arrived on the chat. He's been over on LinkedIn, but he's now arrived here. I've got the Volvo electric excavator, work with house builders and request recharge a machine whilst I service and have my lunch break. Okay in Sweden, but not with the Luddites running the UK sites. I think you're possibly right. Cat D8N military, it is not. Forget military. I mean, it most definitely is, but forget military. That doesn't come into the naming convention. It is an actual model. It's an accepted part of the Caterpillar. There we are. Got it. Peter McKenna. It is a Cat D7H2. It is a Cat D7H2. And let me show you just to prove it. Congratulations, Peter. Well done on that. A lot of research went into that. There you are. It is the Cat D7H2. Back in the day, I realise I don't do this anymore, but Caterpillar used to do like a D8N, a D8P or whatever it might be. But then if they improved it between major upgrades, rather than going to another letter, they would have like a Series 2. So that was a D7H Series 2. And as Peter actually pointed out earlier on, the D7H was the first D7, I think it was the first D7 to have the elevated sprocket design, which you can see right there in front of you, the high drive system. So well done, Peter. Congratulations. Good work, that man. And as he says, Yahoo! Yahoo indeed. That's a machine from the past. We're about to show you a machine from the present, and then we're going to show you a man who lives in the future. So let me crack on a bit. What do I need next? Because I did these out of order, I'm going to do this one next. Oh, look, we've had a correct answer. The Cat D7H2. You lot are really, really daft. But you amuse me a lot. Nick Norton says, I once operated a Cat D7 back in the day with a rope blade in 1963. Great bit of kit. I think the D7H was around about, or the D7H2 was around about 77, 78, thereabouts. So it's an old one, but I mean, look at it. I mean, if that turned up on your site now, you'd be quite happy with that, wouldn't you? That looks about as good as Dozer's got. Yeah. There you are. That's what it was. That's what it is. Now, earlier in the show, we introduced you to an American company. Hang on a minute. Hold on a second. Peter McKenna says, part of that video looks like it says, are you ready to be fingered? Does it? I'm going to need to go back and watch that. I'm sure it doesn't say that. I'm fairly sure I checked. Earlier in the show, we introduced you to an American company that was enjoying Volvo's electric experience. Well, next up, we're going to meet some Brits that are equally charged. See what I did there? Equally charged about electric machines from the fine folks at LiuGong.
I actually prefer the electric machine to the diesel. It's smooth, it's got the power that you want for excavating. It's all there. I came off it yesterday morning with a big smile on my face.
Charging process for the LiuGong machine, it's easy to set up, quick charging. Very impressed with what I've experienced so far.
When operating the machine, the environment of the cab is low noise, low vibration, and is a great way to spend a shift.
The machine performance I find is brilliant. It gives us a lot more power compared to the diesel. Most importantly, it's much quieter.
My experience with LiuGong electric is just a big thumbs up for me, really.
If anybody was considering to change their plant and equipment, they must look at LiuGong right now. And I have no hesitation in recommending LiuGong to anybody because they are that good.
Now, I realise a few of the guys in that sounded like they were a bit scripted. Sure they were. However, Peter McKenna says, I see LiuGong is getting better. They are definitely listening to operators. And speaking of operators, was it Dan Cullen was talking about a LiuGong that he's been on in the background? He was on the WhatsApp group, I think, yesterday. Cracking brand. Intermat was an eye-opener on how far they've come. They look sick too, he says. I give up as I believe. I know the answer, but I'm letting everyone else go for it. It's already done. It's done, Dan. Cat D7H Series 2. We're done. Yes, Hyundai is made in a factory. Are your comments coming through a bit late? I don't know what's going on there. Yes, that's that. Let me crack on. I'm impressed with the little toolkit that's supplied with the LiuGong 922F that I'm on. It was you that was talking about the LiuGong. I can't remember. So much goes on in the WhatsApp group. But yeah, I think LiuGong are doing a fine job. Serial number of that cat should begin with 2RG0000. You're 10 out, I'm afraid. Otherwise, Chris, you're doing right on the money. We've got one final film to play for you, which requires us to go back before coming up to the present and then go to you'll see. Trust me. My job brings with it many benefits. I get to travel a bit, like Sweden next week, Czech Republic the week after. I get to see some amazing equipment. Sweden next week, Czech Republic the week after. But I also get to sit down quite a bit, so that works for a man of my age. But perhaps the best bit of my job is that I get to meet some seriously smart and insightful people, and they honestly don't come much smarter than the star of our final film. Bobcat's Vijay Nerva. He's been on the show before, and he's going to be on it again. But he is basically living in the future. While we're all fanning about, thinking about whether electric or hydrogen is the fuel of tomorrow, he's already thought way beyond that. Now, I'll tell you now, the film you're about to see is about 7 minutes long, but trust me, you will not hear from a smarter person today or quite possibly this year. So let me bring this up off my hard drive, sit back and enjoy Vijay Nerva, a man who lives in the future. Just got to find it now.
Vijay Nerva from Bobcat Company, and behind me is a Rogue X2 here at Intermat 2024. The Rogue X2 is more like a flagship or an amalgam of all the different strategies here at Bobcat. You know, for us, we have different pillars that drive us. You know, every company needs a strategy. And for us, our strategy is how do we address the market with electrification, autonomy, digitization, while being connected and addressing customer needs. So when you put that all together into one concept, that's the baby there. It's just a product of, you know, all these different pillars. But what we really want to communicate to people is why are we doing this? You know, what is the idea behind creating a Rogue X? The Rogue X was basically born out of a workshop that our team had. We were like, okay, we are working on all this cool stuff, we're working with all these cool companies, but how do we package that in something that people today can relate to? So if you look at the colors, you look at the design, it still embodies some of the original Bobcat work, yet it shows people what the future of this equipment would look like. We're not trying to eliminate the operator. We're trying to make sure that those applications where an operator cannot get inside the cab, or he doesn't need to be, we have a machine for that application. And you know, if you tell me now that, okay, is this machine going to be the same in 5 years or 10 years when there's a market need? I cannot answer that today. But what I'm going to answer is, it's going to follow the same footsteps. It's going to go back to that same customer need. It's going to go back to the same operator station. It is going to go back to the same user, or it's going to go back to the same use case. And then we design the machine around it. Today, this is what it looks like, but in the 5 years, it might look different because it's a different customer need. It's a different piece of technology. So when we embody all of that, this is the result of that. It's the Rogue X2. So what if it's an environment where you don't feel comfortable, or it's you're made to sit there but you don't want to sit there, or you have better visibility outside, or you're doing something redundant, or you have a work partner who doesn't show up? What happens then? It's a trade-off, right? You can either do the work, or you can let someone else do the work. But what we're trying to say by this is, how can we address those job sites or work sites with something that can help the operator be more efficient? So, you know, it's only supplementing the operator with work that he can do differently. We're just trying to address those use cases. We're not saying we're trying to eliminate the operator. We're going to have an operator inside that machine for a very long time, not here in the company or in the industry in general. You can have two kinds of concepts. One that is design driven, so the one that you make at a studio, and it looks cool. Does it function engineering wise? It doesn't. Or the other thing could be a functional machine, a functional concept, where it would be like a science project. At this company, we try to mix the two and see how can we design a machine that looks nice, addresses customer needs, and from an engineering standpoint, it's sane. That's the result here. The Rogue X2 is a functional machine if those technologies existed today. Now, that being said, it does have some of those technologies on board, like all electric. You know, there's no hydraulics on the machine. We've taken the same platform as the T7X, put that on the machine that exists today. When the technology is ready, level 4, level 5, however you want to call it, when that is ready, we have a skeleton for the technology. It might look different, it might have maybe different colors, but that's what we want to address here. This is a functional machine. Look at all the disruptors in other industries. You know, you had a Tesla that came in. Tesla didn't come in with the idea to disrupt the automotive industry. They came in to disrupt with electric. That was Tesla's strategy. Or you look at other industries. You can look at Tesla's example again. Look at BYD and Xiaomi trying to disrupt Tesla again with bringing new technology, user experience to users at a lower cost point. That's going to happen in our industry too. We know that there will be people, or there will be these startups, companies coming from outside parallel industries trying to disrupt our industry. We want to do that faster and better because we know our product better than anyone else. Every single show we've shown something new, something that's disruptive, something that's radical. Innovation is nice, but it's not as nice as it is when it's radical. When you do radical technology, that's when you change mindsets about not just construction equipment industry, but construction in general. That's what we need here. We need people to go back home and think about, hey, the construction industry in general is kicking up. It's becoming sexy again. Let's make that more fun for people. Let's make that more fun for the new demographics that is going to enter the job sites. That's what we're trying to do here. We're not going to solve every single problem out there, but what we're trying to do is make this more appealing to people who want to enter the job site. Make it more user-friendly for them. For instance, machines. Today we use all our phones. We have maybe 50 apps. How many apps do we use? Maybe 5, 6? Why do we use those for 5, 6 apps? Because it's cool interfaces. It's easy to use. It gives me exactly what I want. That's what we want from our machines. How can we take the same product, the iron, and drive digital services? Because that's going to make the difference. The digital services, the technology around the product, the technology around the user, the consumer, whoever you want to call it, that's going to make the difference between a Bobcat or a different competitor. That's going to drive value. And that's what this team works on software-driven products, digitized products that people didn't know could exist on a machine. Things like the OLED on the telescopic handlet. When we show that to people, the transparent OLED screen, they've never seen a transparent OLED screen by itself. Putting that on a machine is just game-changing. It's radical. That's the stuff that excites us. And that's why every single trade show or every single customer show we do, we keep that in mind. We want that wow. We want to change people's perceptions to think, oh, I never thought of this as a technology by itself. Now we put that on a machine, that's radical. And hey, we love competition. So if someone else, a competitor, wants to challenge us, we're all open for it. The more competition, the better for the industry, right? So that's what we're trying to do here.
That is one smart cookie, right? I'm fairly sure Vijay actually said to me that he is making sure the mic was on. Fairly sure he actually came to Bobcat from Microsoft, which I'll come back to the chat in just a moment because there's some good stuff going on over there. But just think about that. In years gone by, you had people that moved from, for example, JCB to Komatsu, from Komatsu to Caterpillar, Caterpillar to Hyundai, Hyundai to Doosan, all of which is absolutely fine. But at the point that we start to employ people from the likes of Microsoft or Apple or Tesla or Google, that's the difference. And that, I have to say, more than anybody else that I encounter these days, more than anybody else, Bobcat are doing precisely that. And I also have to say, Bobcat is a big company. We're talking multi-billion-pound company. But they have employed people that they believe to be so good. Vijay is one of them. Dennis Agnew would be another. They've employed people that they believe to be so good that they're empowering them to go away, start with a clean sheet of paper, see what you can come up with. And if they come up with things like the Rogue X2, long may they continue, in my opinion. Autonomous machines are fantastic, but still need an operator. One of the points that Vijay made there, which is one that I've never thought of before, is that idea of being able to carry on work even if your colleague is off sick or off on holiday or whatever it might be. We all know the delays that can cause as it stands at the moment, but what if it didn't? So what if you're operating an excavator and you need your, the area around you kept clear and kept clean? Now, as it stands at the moment, you probably have a guy in a little wheel loader or possibly a bigger wheel loader or possibly in a skid steer loader. And if he doesn't turn up for work, he gets stuck in traffic. Basically, you in the excavator are stuck. Or are you? If you had a working Rogue X2, you tell it what it needs to do, it does it. You carry on working where you are, it carries on working where it is. Everything is hunky-dory. Steve Williamson says, when you hear other companies talk about brands, do you not think they just sound like they know what they're talking about? Professional too, compared to the UK. There are, well, okay, so let me wind back on that. Do you not think they sound like they know what they're talking about? Yes, 100,000%. You know, when you go and stand and have a chat with the people at, for example, Bobcat or Volvo or Komatsu, yes, 100%. But compared to the UK, that's where I have an issue, because when we were up at JCB last, as an example, we pointed the camera at a couple of people that had literally come through their academy. They were former apprentices. Point the camera at them. They know their shit. They really do know their shit. So yes, I kind of see where you're coming from, Steve. But yes, they are most definitely straight to the point. No BS, indeed. Mick Norton takes a slightly different view on this. Rogue X autonomy is a concept for niche sectors only. Bobcat are using the concepts to save money. No hydraulics, no ROPS cab, which are huge financial savings for the manufacturer. I take your point. And I wouldn't necessarily argue with that. But also think about the other issue. One of the things, and I've written about it. I don't think I've actually published it yet, but I've written about this. But we were talking the other day about this ongoing skill shortage that we have in the industry. 2 years ago, the CITB published. The hell is published? The CITB published a report that said that we would need an additional 250,000 workers by 2026. 2 years later, they came out with a report that says we will need an additional 250,000 workers by 2028. So basically, they've just changed the dates and moved everything forward. We are not, as an industry, addressing the skill shortage. We are attracting fewer and fewer people. We are allowing the veterans of the industry to up sticks and retire or leave or go and do something else. We are not addressing the skill shortage. In fact, if anything, the skill shortage is getting deeper. If you still need to build stuff, roads, railways, schools, hospitals, houses, whatever it might be, and you can't find enough people to do that, what is your option? One option, definitely, is autonomous machines. No question about it. So yes, Bobcat and the others of their ilk may well save themselves a few quid along the line, but they might actually save the construction industry. Joe Brown Construction Company just joined us over on the Instagrams. Let's have a see. Dan Cullen. By the way, I don't control the subtitles. No, let me just... Peter says, I can't see people's chat when you put them on the screen due to the subtitles. Turn off the subtitles would be the answer on that. And that's exactly what Mick has said. The guy who said electric has more power than diesel, I don't think that's possible. I do. Well, I say I do. That's not... on the electric machines that I've driven, they do seem to have more speed, I guess. I mean, I don't operate enough machines to be able to jump on one, operate it, and think that's got more power than the other. But certainly, whenever I've driven an electric or whenever I've driven a hybrid, they do seem to have a bit more go about them. How do I turn off subtitles on Facebook? I've no idea, because it's a hellscape and I spend no time there. Let me go back. Graham Footy Williams, any more interest in the ladder? Not directed at me, there hasn't been. Steve says, JCB, you don't get a free toolkit. You get a service van on site all times, just in case. Really? We're dredging out that old standby, are we? Mick Norton says, we spoke of the variants in MVQs last week. Not so long back, there were MVQs L2, level 2, in goat herding and fence post construction. Can you imagine turning up for a job? Yes, you seem like a very good candidate. What qualifications do you have? I have my 50 meters breaststroke and an NVQ level 2 in goat herding. You are definitely the man for the role. Peter says, our producing tech now that's future-proof. I'll find the article and post it on the WhatsApp group after the show. It's quite amazing. It was off camera. When we finished doing that interview with VJ, I said, you're clearly very smart. You're clearly thinking streets ahead. And he said, you haven't seen anything yet. Just wait. And where will I be in roughly 2 weeks' time? I'll be in Bobcat land. I'll be over in the Czech Republic. Now, I'm not actually expected to see anything new in terms of product, but I'm hoping to catch up with VJ and his colleagues and find out a little bit more about what might be coming down the line. So keep an eye out for that. Mick says, there'll be an MVQ in how to wipe your arse soon. It's a bloody joke. I agree. Peter McKenna says, taking an academic construction studies worries some as it feels like being the keen and the inexperienced fisherman who fears getting swallowed by the fish. So the trip is aborted or put back until it's absolutely and critically essential. The analogy of the fisherman and the fish sounds silly, but many are fearful about entering into academic studies as it may be a new venture in which they feel like a fish out of water. Is this from the article that you were talking about, Peter? I'm guessing it probably is. There is Gary Muirhead, very informative guy. Yeah. There was a plan. I did actually speak to VJ while we were in Intermat and said, I'd love to get you on a podcast, get you on an evening show. I may still do that, but I also may just sit down with him while I'm over in Debris, in Czech Republic, and actually just sit there for an hour and just pick his brains. We'll see how he wants to go with that. Mick says, got to admit, this fella is talking a lot of sense. He certainly is. More. It says captions are auto-generated. That will be Facebook. Peter, wait for the screen to clear. You'll see CC. Click on that and you can turn them off. Thank you very much indeed for that, Mick. Thank you for being the Facebook help desk. I literally don't know anything about Facebook. My wife occasionally says, my Facebook has gone wrong. Well, I don't know what to do about that because I send stuff over there. I mean, it included today's story about the missing squib group plant. But I don't go there. I sit here and I throw it over there and hope it sticks. I don't even bother to look to see if it has actually stuck over there. Right, people, that's just about it for the main part of today's show. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. If you can't stick around, then please stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues, and I'll see you again very soon. But if you do have the time and the inclination, do please stick around because we'll be talking about a future plant, and we'll be talking about missing equipment, and we're probably talking about breakfast cereal as well, because this show is weird. So please join us when I get back with the Craic immediately after this. Right, let's take that down. I think the correct level is, I know you can't see this, I'm just talking to myself here. The correct level is 14. We have 14. There we are. Good morning, one and all. Chris Ford says the auto captions can be hilarious. I have to admit, I've got a completely legal. I'm perish thought it's not legal. I've got a completely legal system on my laptop that allows me to watch movies that are only just in the cinema, but it's entirely legal. I hasten to add, but that occasionally throws up auto captions as well. If you watch the captions, the film would be very different indeed. Really would. Peter says, no, Mick, you have to click the settings button, which is hidden. I'm sure it is. Mick says, we ought to invite Unison or GMB official onto the show and ask their opinion on the autonomous equipment and the current skill shortage. I will reach out and ask them exactly that. That music sounds really loud. That's better. Sorry if that was disturbing anyone. Right, let me go back to the beginning of the chat. And once again, the madness continues. This was posted at 5:33 this morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, filthy animals alike, and of course, plant porn addicts. Little dry today. Thank God, says Dan the man at 5:30 this morning. I'm almost getting to the point now where I think, should I get up at 5:30 just in case he pitches up? Just he's putting in the effort. Should I? But no, I'm not going to do that at all. I do want to quickly remind you that we did show you this. That is the world's first hydrogen-powered T264 Liebherr rigid truck, which has literally just gone to work over in Australia, in Perth, to be precise. If you'd like to go and find out more about that, I can repost it. Let me have a look. It's that button there. You can find a link to that in the chat. So let me quickly rattle through all of this. There was Gary Muirhead, Chris Ford, Mark Whiting, Dan Cullen properly this time, Ken Hatcher, Craig from CSW, Ken Hatcher again, Graham Footy Williams is all here. Now, question of the day was this. That music still sounds loud to me. What the hell's going on? Seems to have lost it entirely now, which is weird. I tell you what, I'm going to change tunes. Maybe that will be better. Let me go with this one. Yeah, that sounds about right. My apologies. So, Gary Muirhead's question of the day for today was quite simply this. What is your favourite breakfast cereal? But he wanted to know more than that. What is your favourite breakfast cereal, past or present, and how do you have it? And the how do you have it is very, very important. And he then answers his own question with this. He says, my favourite breakfast cereal is an old one that was called Start. Now, there was a bit of discussion about Start. I've gone away and I've looked on Google to see the box that Start came in. No recollection of it whatsoever. My wife remembers it. So, there's every possibility it was in our house, because I have been with her forever, but I have no recollection of it whatsoever. It says it was multigrain. I'm guessing it was Cheerios-esque. I don't know about the shape, but I'm in multigrain, I'm guessing. Steve Williamson says, Weetabix. I have 4, sometimes 5... sometimes, oh no, let me do that again. I have 4, sometimes 5 every morning, and sometimes at night. Yeah. I don't know what it is. There is a certain thrill in having meals wrong, isn't there? At the wrong time? I don't know if anybody ever watched the TV series Scrubs about doctors in America. Comedy program, and there was one character in that called Turk, and Turk insisted that every once in a while his wife would make him brinner. In other words, she would make him breakfast, but at dinner time. Now, I have to be honest, I'm exactly the same. I do quite like an evening bowl of cornflakes, and sometimes when the Mrs. A says, what do you really fancy for dinner? She could go out and get all oat cuisine. Egg, bacon and beans, please. I'll have the full English, but at dinner time. Anybody else? Love to hear from you. Ken Hatcher, fruit and fibre. Yes, keep you regular, Ken. Keep you regular. With milk, he says. Do you still get sugar puffs? I've not seen them in years. We certainly get them down this part of the world. No question about it. There's my other half, shredded wheat, hot milk and sugar. Yeah, I have to be careful with the sugar these days. Full milk, sometimes gold top milk for a treat. Oh, see, now I want to let you into a little trade secret here in the Anthony household, Demolition Used Towers, as it is often known. So my other half doesn't eat breakfast every day. Really doesn't. But there is a tradition in our house, which I think is a tradition that used to be in an old family home, which was this. Christmas Day, up early, cornflakes, cold gold top milk and sugar. She doesn't do it any other day of the year. It's just purely Christmas Day. And that's what happens in our house. There you are. See, I've shed a little light into what a weird marriage we have. Let me go back to here. Footy says porridge. I don't make it with milk. I make it with water and sometimes a splash of milk and sugar. That's if I'm having cornflakes. Nut milk. Are you talking nut milk or are you talking not cold milk? I'm not entirely sure. Morning all, says Mick. A good write-up about squibs and a worrying situation if they are complicit in hiding the plant. Fueled a fair few comments over on on LinkedIn rather. Somebody here says, we all know what happened to the scrap and the plant. It went out the back door to the owner's pockets when no one was looking. You could say that, sir. I couldn't possibly comment. Lots of guesses on our mystery machine. Oh, I do, excuse me. Started taking tablets in the morning. I think they're sitting well. Mick says, porridge made with water and salt. Do you know, that's one of those things that I really wish I could get on with. I can't. It's just, I know it's traditional and I know people rave about it, particularly the Scots. Can't do it. I've tried and I can't do it. There's Jim Turner. There is Ken Hatcher. There's my other half. Gary Muhay, just Googled start. Remember the box now? Not sure I ever tried it. No, not sure I did either. Chris Ford is going for another man on the porridge. Teaspoon of treacle and a sprinkling of sugar for good measure. Ringed with evaporated milk so it trickles in as you devour it. Oh, Chris, that sounds fantastic. Evaporated milk. I mean, is there a better invention in the world? Do you still do that thing with evaporated milk? I'm sure this isn't peculiar to my house. We used to have as a dessert. We didn't call it dessert. I come from Battersea. We called it pudding. We used to have like tin peaches with evaporated milk. Little, fairly short tin. And my dad used to put a hole in one side and a hole in the other and then stick a spoon in to open up the holes and then, evaporated milk. Anybody else, or is that just me? Gaz Evans, the model maestro himself, is in the house. Morning, Gaz. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Ken Hatcher, good news. He's going to be enjoying, he'll be unbearable. He'll be enjoying a new machine smell in 2 weeks. I love the smell of a new Kubota in the morning, said Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now. He said something very similar to that. I love the smell of a new machine. Yeah, that's going to be fantastic. And apparently, I've been reliably informed, you can actually buy that new machine smell in a bottle. Don't know where, but you can. Mick says, just heard an almighty bang. Another idiot came down the road at 50 to 60 and forgot the bend in the road. When will these young prats ever learn? The problem is the young prats do learn, but then another generation of young brats comes along behind them. It's a never-ending issue. I really think it is. Now, Gary... No, it wasn't. It was Dan. Dan said, sorry, was in conversation with boss of a company, potential employment opportunity. So, I'm looking for good ground workers and a plant operator. Anybody know? If anybody does, please let us know. Dan also says, I'm only off on Monday. Yeah, just a very quick reminder, if you did arrive late, I won't be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Monday is a bank holiday, then I'm in Sweden with Volvo on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I won't be here on Monday and Tuesday the week after that because I'll be in Czech Republic with Bobcat. Looking forward to both. Not just for the equipment, but because both companies are really, really good to deal with. Mark Sarek from India. Mark doesn't sound like a very Indian name, does it? I wonder if he's an expat living out there. Maybe we'll find out at some point. Yes, Steve Williamson tried to take a shortcut to guess the mystery machine and failed. He missed the series too. Here's an interesting one. Mick says, heard a fellow talking about insurance. Basically, he's talking about the fact that if an electric car goes up in flames, it's a write-off. So they've upped the cost to insure the e-cars. I wonder how much it would cost to insure an electric excavator. If anybody's had any experience of that, I would love to hear from you. And I will raise that question when I'm over in Sweden next week. See if they can shed any light on that. Still rattling through. Yeah, that's another good one from Mick. I've got the Volvo electric excavator, work for the house builders, request recharge the machine while I service and have my lunch break. Okay in Sweden, but not with the Luddites running sites in the UK. Is that true? Yeah, and is it... Is it the Luddite thing, or is it because they are being leaned upon by their lords and masters, be it the main contractor or the client or the developer? We need this job done a fortnight ago, so we can't allow you to take time to charge a machine. I'd love to hear from you if you've got any input on that. Love to hear about it. I'm going to go right down to the bottom because I think we've just probably covered all that. Wow. Evaporated milk. My late mum always force-fed me this foul stuff for years as a kid. Hated it. Oh, no. I could drink it by the pint. I didn't drink evaporated milk. You remember tinned peaches? Tinned peaches. Tip away the juice. No, don't be tipping away the juice. Tipping in a glass. I'm drinking that stuff to this day. Now, flavoured instant grits, if that counts as a cereal. I guess it does. Grits is not a thing here. As far as I'm aware, grits do not even exist here in the UK. It's kind of a savoury porridge, right? I have had it. It's a while ago. I have had it. Grits. Anybody had grits outside of the US? Peter says I use evaporated milk to make my caramel sauce for desserts. Now, is that evaporated milk or is that condensed milk? I thought condensed milk was the one that you boiled to make caramel sauce. I may be wrong. I'm not an expert. I'm looking to Steve Williamson because, as we all know, he is basically the show's Fanny Craddock. No, it's not just you. Evaporated milk in coffee or on bananas with a sprinkle of sugar. Condense it further for banoffee pie. The list is endless. Oh. Nobody has mentioned Snap, Crackle and Pop. Yeah, see, now I'm very specific with the Snap, Crackle and Pop. That's Rice Krispies to the uninitiated. Yeah. Cold milk, never any sugar. Didn't need it. Tell them about the Honey Mummy or Frosties. They're great. Yeah, Tony the Tiger. The honey. Anyone remember the Honey Monster? I had a friend who looked a lot like the Honey Monster, not facially, but you know the big shoulders? Yeah, I had a friend who looked just like that. I get raw milk from my mate's farm. It's delicious as a treat with my Weetabix. Yes, we've talked about you sucking upon the teat of the neighbouring cows in the past, I think. Question of the day. 6 Weetabix with honey and milk left to stand so it's porridge. 6? That's a box, isn't it? Good look. Was it Weetabix or was it shredded wheat? Where the joke of the advert was, bet you can't eat more than 2 or something like that. I can't remember. I'm sure that was Weetabix. Porridge with a dob of maple syrup. Oh, I mean maple syrup on pretty much anything, but a dob. I do like the idea of a dob. Were you responsible for the loud music that drowned out the PM yesterday? No, I was not. I did find the whole thing highly amusing, though. When he's standing outside number 10 Downing Street at a podium with the rain pouring down on him, and he says, Labour don't have a plan. Maybe you should have planned to bring an umbrella, fella. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so where did we end up with? Was it 4th July? Independence Day, independence from the Tory Party Day. Is that where we're going? We've got for those of you that don't know, it is going to be a general election. I'm fairly sure I heard the 4th of July. I don't take a great deal of notice, to be honest. Angel Delight makes a good milkshake. Does it? Is that just additional milk? I don't know. How to make caramel sauce. Add butter, brown sugar, water and salt to a medium saucepan over medium heat. Stir continuously until the butter melts. Once the butter is melted, bring the mixture to the boil. Boil for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. Remove from the heat. Stir in vanilla and half a cup of evaporated milk. That's not the way I've seen it done. I'm sure it is more or less boiling up some condensed milk, but I bow to your superior knowledge on the subject. Chris Ford says, sometimes I wish I was an American. Pancakes with maple syrup for breakfast. I do need to take my wife to my daughter's house in just a moment, so I'm going to just regale you shortly, very briefly, with a tale from my second trip to America, back in the late 80s. So we went to a diners. There's a diner chain in America. I don't know what coast they're on, so I'm hoping that our friend Garrett will be able to bail me out here. But we went to a diner called Shoney's. Very good, very nice. Two things happened in Shoney's. So the first was, this was my first actual American diner experience. So I sat down, lady comes over and pours me a cup of coffee. I take a sip and she tops it up. I thought, well, that's a fantastic idea. But the whole breakfast thing there is a buffet. So while I'm sat there drinking my coffee, there was a guy walking around and he bypassed all of the pancakes and the waffles and the fruit and everything else. And he just basically picked up a few rashers of bacon and a bit of scrambled egg. And I'm sat there thinking to myself, look at him avoiding all the American stuff. He's probably a Brit on his travels like I am. At which point he reached for the maple syrup jug and drenched the whole lot in maple syrup. And I thought, no, maybe he's an American. The same breakfast time, my wife went up and she came back with a pile of pancakes, on top of which she had placed what she believed to be vanilla ice cream. Big scoop of what she believed to be vanilla ice cream. Vanilla ice cream was whipped butter. That stopped her in her tracks. I mean, she ate it. Don't get me wrong, she ate it. British bacon is far superior to American bacon. Easy it. See, I am a fan of the streaky, and the Americans do the streaky very, very well. They do the streaky very, very well. I tell you whose bacon I don't like, and that's the French. One of the low points of the Intermat show was the breakfast bacon in the Ibis Hotel, just up the road from the Eiffel Tower. Not a fan of that. Mick says, oh, well, that just made my day. Bloke just knocked asked if I would take a parcel in for my neighbour. Okay, I said. He then walked a fridge freezer from the lift. Sod the neighbour. I mean, on the basis that you now have a stray fridge freezer in your house, you don't happen to have 2 million quid worth of equipment as well, do you? I'm just asking for a friend. Right, people, go and do your things. I'll be back. For the final time for a little while. It is Thursday today, right? Yeah, it is Thursday today. So I'll be back tomorrow for more of the same. And you've got a bit of a break. You've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday without me. You get me back Thursday, Friday, and then you lose me again for a couple of days. But I promise you, I will do my level best to bring back goodies, which I will give away. And Gary, please note, I haven't forgotten your electric lunchbox. I will be giving that away. And just a very, very quick heads up. I literally, while I've been talking on this show, on the 12th of June, we will gather for an evening show. The breakfast show After Dark, and our guest on that show will be Mike Keogh, who is going to take us behind the scenes of an explosive demolition. We all get to see the explosion, and we see the tower or the chimney or whatever it is full. He is going to take us behind the scenes to show you exactly what goes into it. So 12th of June, 7 p.m, breakfast show After Dark. Be there or be square. Mick has no idea about the equipment, but may have an idea about the scrap. I'd keep your head down if I were you. I've been working and watching, and glad to hear it. Have a great day all, says Peter McKenna, and catch you all on the flip side. I think we should all catch each other on the flip side. Go have a fantastic day, everyone. I'll be back here tomorrow, with more of the same. Till then, have a fantastic day. All the best.